Hi, flamingos. So yesterday we started talking about measurement and money for the third page in our Invention blueprints. We started talking about numbers yesterday because numbers are a part of measuring and they're also a part of money. And so we started off by talking about numbers. Then we started talking about non-standard units of measurement. We learned how you can measure things using blocks or discs or counting bears or even your own feet. These are all non-standard units of measurement. And we measured Penny here using paws and using dog biscuits, right? We measured all parts of her head using paws and dog biscuits, which is kind of silly, but it was fun. Now we're going to talk a little bit about standard ways to measure things. So you can measure length using a ruler or a tape measure, right? You can use a scale to measure weight. These are all different types of scales. You can use a measuring cup. This was my grandmom's measuring cup. Measuring cup or a measuring spoon to measure volume, right? We use these to cook or bake. And you can use a thermometer for temperature, to measure your temperature, or the outside temperature, right? And to measure time, you can use a watch, or all these different types of clocks, right? So these are standard ways to measure things. So we're gonna do some measuring in just a little bit, and I'm gonna give you guys a file to print off a sheet of paper and make your own measuring tape that's 5 feet long. It's pretty cool. You can measure, most of you, using just that measuring tape. Today we're going to read this book called How Long or How Wide, and we're going to measure how long something is and how wide something is. Ella's made us a magnatile castle, and she's going to help us measure how long and how wide it is. So let's read. This is a measuring guide, How Long and How Wide, and it's by Brian P. Cleary, and it's illustrated by Brian Gable. It's by Millbrook Press. It was published by Millbrook Press. A table, a teacher, a building, or a creature. A stuffed teddy bear that you've treasured. What size are they all? The big and the small. Each one of those things can be measured. They have rulers, don't they? Yeah. Length answers the riddle. For large things or little. How long or how tall or how wide is that swing? Or your ring? Or a dinosaur wing? How wide are his wings? Or the ladder that leads to the slide. How tall is that? 1 inch. 1 inch looks like this right there. And it's easy to miss because it's very, very small. It's about the size of the middle part of an adult's finger right there, the middle section. But it shows us its might when it helps tell the height of the trees that reach up to the skies. A foot. 12 inches together make 1 foot. So whether you measure a desk or a door, each 12-inch long line is a definite sign that you've measured another foot more. So this ruler has 12 inches and it's 1 foot. And see, this is cool. Inches live on this stool. It's a measuring stick called a ruler. A 12-inch collection of 1 foot perfection. The right size for every grade schooler. A yard. Now, 3 of these, should they line up and meet, together are what's called 1 yard. That's 36 inches, and here's what the cinch is. That's also 3 feet, and that's not hard. If you measured your bed, the yardstick had said that your bed headboard exactly is 3 feet. You could say that the height is 1 yard and you're right, or 36 inches. How neat. It's really quite wise when you're measuring size to know more than only one system. The terms here are fun, English or metric, and before we are done, you'll surely be able to list them. A millimeter. It's nearly as thin as a needle or a pin. 1 inch holds almost 26. Put your face really near. That's the whole thing right there. There's a millimeter the little bug is pointing to. It's smaller than most fleas and most ticks. Oh my goodness, that's tiny. A centimeter. Take your fingers and pinch. Less than half of 1 inch. A dime would quite easily hide one. As small as it is, when you're asked on a quiz, there's 10 millimeters inside of 1 centimeter. So, when you look here, on the top part of this ruler, they're inches. But then when you turn it over, and this is the top, the smaller side, those are centimeters. A little bit smaller than a half an inch. A decimeter. A bit less than 4 inches, really no more. There are 10 centimeters tucked in it. 100 would be the amount you would see of all millimeters within it. There's the decimeter. Just how tall is Peter? Well, he's all of 1 meter. He's a little bit taller than a yard. Or you could say Peter's just 10 decimeters, and watch as your paper is starred. Because 10 decimeters equals 1 meter. And 1 meter is just a little over 3 feet tall. Let's see. So 3 feet tall, we have 1, 2, then 3 feet. This is a yard right here. Yeah, a yard. So let's see. 10 decimeters. So how can you tell just how tall is that bell? How wide is your thermos or your cooler? Now it's a pleasure because you can measure, which makes you the ultimate ruler. So what is the length? Do you know? You can use a yardstick or a meter stick or even a ruler to measure. And we are going to use a tape measure to measure how long and how wide this really cool magnatile castle is here. So let's take the tape measure that I've given to you guys here to print off, and you can make it. And we'll measure how tall and how wide Ella's magnatile castle is, okay? So Ella, can you bend down? Let's see. Can you hold this part up here, up high?
Okay.
Can you hold it right up here, honey?
Okay.
Can you hold this?
Okay.
I'll hold this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you hold it up here?
Okay.
Let's see. Okay.
Let's see.
So Miss Lauren's going to use this tape measure. Mommy is going to use this tape measure. And we're going to see how many inches tall. This is how long, how tall is it? It is 30 inches tall, Ella. This is 30 inches tall.
Yeah.
That seems really tall, but it is.
This
This is 30 inches tall. Let's see how wide now. Let's take it from the widest point over here.
Okay. That's the right height.
Okay, the widest point over here to the widest point, the left on the widest point on the right. It is 19 and a half inches wide. So 30 inches tall, 30 inches long, 19 and a half inches wide. Wow, Ella, you made a big castle. High five.
I think I made it.
You made it. With Daddy. You and Daddy made it. Okay, well, I want you guys to use your measuring tape, cut it out, tape it together, and use it to measure some things at your house. Maybe build a castle with magnetiles and measure that, okay? Try to experiment with some measuring at home. All right, talk to you soon.